Today, Kirfi's going to be doing her mock driving test. She already has an Irish driving licence, don't you?
I do, yeah.
You got it about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But you passed and then never used it.
Never drove again, yeah.
Until you came to England, and for the last 6 months you've been having driving lessons with someone else.
Yeah.
But you failed.
Yeah, I failed my first test, yeah.
You did. And that was because of observations at junctions. That means your observations weren't effective enough to make a good decision. And also changing direction and mirrors, which means you've changed direction without checking your mirrors at some point when it's a serious problem. Yeah. Also, you had a couple of minors for approach speed, which is why I think you had your problem with the other two things. I don't think you're giving yourself enough time. But we will see. We'll see how you do today. I've given her a little warm up in this car. I've never given Kirfi a lesson before, but I have given her some advice because I can right off the bat see one of the reasons why she is struggling. I'm kind of hoping actually you won't fix that too quickly because the video won't be as interesting, will it? We will see. I'll go and get your examiner. Oh, and something I should make a note about the test. A real test, they will allow you to damage the car, but they won't allow you to do something that's really unsafe. They'll step in there. But for a mock test with me, if you go to damage this car, I will step in. So if you go to hit the curb, I won't let you. Or if you're holding the clutch down a little bit or riding the clutch, I will say something, but they won't do that on the real test. If you're just putting your foot over the clutch but not pressing it, I'm not going to say anything.
Sure.
I don't want you to damage the car. Also, my tests are harsher. They're not necessarily harsher than the real test, but they are the harshest examples I've seen of real tests. And also the routes are generally the more challenging routes that they do. So you're going to be getting some of the more challenging routes, more challenging junctions in the town, or it's a city now. Actually, they changed Colchester to a city recently, did they? Didn't they? So yes, just because you fail this one, it doesn't mean you will fail the real test. Yeah. And when it comes to taking your test, it's only ever a probability anyway, isn't it? You could say, oh, that person got a very low chance of passing, but they could still pass. Or you could have a very high chance of passing and still fail. Yeah. If you pass a mock test with me, it's very unlikely you'll fail the real test. Okay. Very unlikely. Anyway, I'll go and get Gary. Hello, I'm Gary. Who are you?
I'm Kirfi.
Kirfi. What would you like me to call you today, Kirfi?
Kirfi's fine.
Kirfi, okay. Right, would you like me to tell you about the driving test today?
Yes, please.
So it's going to be between 38 and 40 minutes, taking into account various road and traffic conditions. I may ask you to do the emergency stop, and there will be one manoeuvre. Also, I will be asking you to follow the sat-nav for part of the test, but not just yet. Okay. Firstly, I need to ask you a safety question. How would you check your head restraint is correctly adjusted?
So the head restraint, it needs to align with the middle of the head, which is not the position it is in right now.
Well, to be fair, that's as low as it goes, isn't it? It's a good answer, but yes.
I don't think it'll go any further. Yeah.
It's still going to protect you, though. It is low enough. Okay.
Okay.
So, when you're ready, if you could move away, please. Her blind spot check gets a little bit old before moving away, approximately 4 seconds. This is not old enough to likely be marked on test, but I like my pupils to be moving away within 2 seconds of checking their blind spot to make sure nothing changes. I forgot to mention that please follow the road ahead unless I say left or right, or road signs or markings direct you otherwise. So follow the road ahead unless I say left or right, or road signs or markings tell you where to go. I will fast forward the bits of the test where not much happens.
Have I done something with the camera?
I think you've turned the camera off. Don't worry though, just drive normally and we'll pull over and turn it on in a moment. So move away when you're ready and we'll just continue.
Okay.
This time she updates her blind spot check after it gets old. That was a safe and comfortable angle start. During your driving test in Great Britain, you'll be asked to pull up 1 car length behind a parked vehicle and then asked to move away again. At the roundabout, I'd like you to go right, fourth exit, please.
Right, fourth exit.
Yes, please.
Her position on this roundabout is a little bit dodgy. She steers to the left a little late, meaning she gets close to the roundabout, and she gets very close to the curb when she leaves the roundabout. I was worried she was about to hit it, so I nearly took the wheel. This would very likely be a minor mark for control steering.
At the roundabout, I'd like to go ahead, second exit.
Okay.
You may notice that Kjerfi is continuously resting her foot over the clutch pedal, but she is not actually pressing into it, so no harm is being done. Kjerfi does this roundabout very safely, although her gear change from first to second was quite jerky. This was down to her timing of her clutch and her gas. It's good to see that she checks her centre and right mirror before moving to the right to pass the white van, and her centre and left mirror before she moves back to the left. I don't like how firmly she brakes as she stops in this queue of traffic. I wouldn't call it unsafe, but it wasn't very comfortable. Good mirror checks before moving slightly to the right to pass the roadworks. It's quite common for your driving examiner to ask you, what would you normally be doing today? This is just to try and break the ice and help you relax.
So what would you normally be doing today?
I'd be at work.
What do you do for work?
I'm a doctor at Colchester Hospital.
You're a doctor?
Yeah.
Or I'll be asking you a few questions later. Takes a long time to see a doctor these days.
Yeah, it does actually.
I bet all your friends are asking you questions. 3 doctor's appointments.
It is illegal to give actual medical advice, so I don't usually.
Don't worry, I won't tell anyone.
No, it's just gonna be in the YouTube video for everybody to see.
Don't worry about it. It's not serious.
"27 miles per hour is too fast to be this close to the curb. A safe speed here would be closer to about 10 miles per hour. This would very likely be a minor mark for use of speed. Some say this should be a mark for position normal driving as she is too close to the curb. But I'm marking it as use of speed because she has no choice but to be close to the curb due to the oncoming car and lack of space. But she does have a choice as to whether or not she slows down to make it safer. If there was a pedestrian next to us on the pavement, she would be putting them at risk, and therefore this may even be a serious mark and therefore a driving test fail. There is a parked car on the left with oncoming cars. It's good that she waits on this occasion because there really is limited space. She thinks about going before the next oncoming car but makes a good decision to wait, as my judgment tells me she would have made them slow down if she was to go.
The mini roundabout, please turn right.
Turn right, okay.
Bear in mind the camera has a wide angle lens and makes objects look significantly further ahead than they actually are. In an attempt to go round this mini roundabout, which is nigh on impossible, and a proper attempt would make it look like you're about to turn left before you have a chance to turn right, she nearly hits the curb. It's important to avoid driving on the mini roundabout, but if there isn't enough space, you will need to drive over them as much as necessary to avoid hitting the curb or being misleading. I think it's quite likely this would be a minor mark for junctions turning right.
And please take the next road on the right,
Okay.
after the zebra crossing.
Notice how she lifts the clutch to the bite point whilst her foot is still on the brake. Some engines are likely to stall using this method. I've made a video all about it. I'll leave a link on screen where you'll be able to see many comments from people who have only been taught this method and then struggle to drive their own car after passing the driving test.
Next road right.
Next road right.
She is forced to be on the wrong side of the road approaching this junction on the right due to the parked cars, but she does an excellent job of checking it's safe and turning into the left side of the road.
And next to the lamppost on the right, if you could pull over on the right side of the road, please.
Okay.
I take the wheel here because she is so close to the curb that she may hit it. I'm not going to mark it though because it is possible she would have steered away from the curb at the same time as I took the wheel.
That's close enough, thank you.
Over the years though, I've learned that it's better to take the wheel than waiting to find out whether or not my pupil actually damages the tyre against the curb.
Okay, please reverse back 2 car lengths,
Okay.
staying reasonably close to the curb.
Okay.
She starts to move backwards just before checking both blind spots behind. However, as she only moves very slightly before she checks, it's unlikely this would be marked on test. She checks the roadside blind spot a lot, but the curb side very little, and takes her eye off the right wing mirror for long periods of time, which will affect her accuracy with the curb. The curbside blind spot is important as she is going backwards and someone could be coming out of a house or starting to pull out of a driveway, and checking the curbside blind spot would give her an early warning of this. However, I feel her observations were more than good enough to see anything approaching her before it's too late, and she had good control of the car throughout, so no faults here.
That'll do there, thank you.
Are we moving away?
Move away when you're ready, please.
Okay.
It's good that she checks her left side blind spot before moving away from the right side of the road, because she is moving towards the left. Anything on her right, she is moving away from.
And at the next lamppost on the left, if you pull up at the side of the road, please.
Thanks.
Don't worry about the driveway.
This is so she can do the hill start.
Okay, move away when you're ready, please.
She moved away without rolling back or jerking forward, so this is absolutely fine for the driving test. The method she uses doesn't matter as long as she is safe, in good control and doesn't harm the car. Although I said examiners would allow you to harm your car, it doesn't mean you won't get a driving fault for doing so. She is checking the relevant mirrors and she is aware of her surroundings when dealing with parked cars. She is slow when she can't see far, she is slow when she is close to the cars, and she speeds up when her view is longer and when she is further from the parked cars.
And you pull over at the side of the road, please, just before this grey car. Might be a black car, but I think it's hard to tell in this light. Very dark grey or black. Okay, now I'd like you to follow the sat nav. Move away when you're ready, please.
Okay.
It's good that she spots the vehicle behind and waits. However, you may be thinking it's in her left blind spot due to the fact she's looking over her left shoulder. But at the moment, the left blind spot is a wall and a hedge. The car was never in the blind spot. Initially, it was in the left wing mirror, then the interior mirror, and then the right wing mirror. And she initially spotted it in the interior mirror, as you can see here, which made her quickly react and look directly out of the rear window, maybe because she didn't trust what she saw in the mirror.
End of road left. Sat-nav's not saying it, so I'll say it for her. She'll speak soon. Sometimes she's a bit slow to get started.
In 300 yards, at the roundabout, take the second exit onto Bromley Road.
The sat-nav has asked Kierfi to go right at the mini roundabout, but she does not signal right. A right signal at a mini roundabout is one of the most important uses of the indicator, as failing to use it can cause danger. There is little position difference for going left or right at many mini roundabouts due to their size, so it's very difficult for other vehicles to know where you are going if you don't signal. In my experience, this would normally be a minor mark for signals necessary, but if a vehicle would have pulled out in front of her due to a lack of signal, it could easily be a serious mark. So it's only luck that it wasn't serious. She did signal to leave the mini roundabout, but because there's not much space, the signal to leave isn't really helpful. Usually the signal on approach to a mini roundabout actually helps others make a decision. This is not to be confused with normal roundabouts though, which are much larger and there's much more time, where a signal to leave actually helps others enter the roundabout safely. This is not the best place for the truck to stop, and this is going to be difficult for Kierfi. She signals and moves around the truck slow enough that if anybody was coming, it would be safe. She dealt with this tricky situation exceptionally.
Pull over in a safe place on the left, please.
Okay.
I'm about to ask her to do the emergency stop.
Anywhere here is fine, please. Thank you. I'm now going to ask you to do the emergency stop.
Okay.
Only do the stop if I put my hand out and say stop.
Mm-hmm.
You may see me look behind to make sure it's safe before I ask you to do that. If I don't put my hand out and say stop, don't do the emergency stop.
Okay.
Okay. When you're ready, move away and drive normally until I give the signal.
Okay.
Stop. Thank you. I won't ask you to do that again. You move away when you're ready, please.
The bang you could hear during the emergency stop was her small clutch bag that was on the back seat. In fairness, I should not have allowed her to leave that there. However, the emergency stop was very good. She was quick to react and she broke very firmly and the ABS cut in. However, her blind spot checks got too old. This would likely be a minor mark for move off safety.
You'll be continuing to follow the sat-nav, please.
Okay.
She is about to go too fast around a narrow bend with a short view. On camera it doesn't look bad, but her position is initially a bit right and she is not prepared for another vehicle to be coming the other way. If a vehicle was around the bend, she would have had to brake very hard, or I would have needed to take control. As you can see, it doesn't come across on camera, but I'm fairly certain this would be a serious mark for use of speed, and later on during the debrief, she knew she was too fast on that bend. Throughout this road, she has been too slow on the straights. This could either be a minor or a serious mark, but as the road went on for a while and she was significantly slower than necessary to be safe, this may be a serious mark. Now you may be thinking, I'm saying she's too fast and now I'm saying she's too slow. How can she win? Well, the skill on these roads is to know when it's safe to speed up and make progress and how much to slow down by to keep it safe on the bends and for hazards. She has not demonstrated this. There has been very little change in her speed throughout this whole road. She clearly needs more practice on how to make progress while staying safe.
Just after this road on the left, if you could pull over on the left in a safe place, please.
Okay.
Head south on Tye Road towards Colchester Road, A133.
Well, it's told you what to do.
Yeah.
Move away when you're ready, please.
I see a lot of learner drivers do this, looking around from left to right slowly for long periods of time to try and show me that they're checking their blind spot. But her blind spot is often 4 to 5 seconds old before she gets moving. I recommend watching the mirrors for what's coming up behind and looking out the front window for what's coming in front. When it looks safe to go, a quick roadside blind spot check followed up by a quick final check of the relevant mirrors in the head before moving. It's important that none of her observations get old.
Continue on A133 for 2 miles.
This is a national speed limit dual carriageway, which is 70 miles an hour for this type of vehicle. It's a nice day, there isn't much traffic and visibility is good, so it's easily safe to go 70 miles per hour at the moment. She has been staying closer to 60 throughout this road. In my experience, this speed on this road in these conditions is usually a minor mark for appropriate speed. However, she already has a serious mark for appropriate speed, so another driving fault won't be marked.
To help with your planning, you will be going
In
right.
a quarter of a mile, at Greenstead roundabout, take the second exit onto St Andrews Avenue, A133.
You will be going right at the next mini roundabout.
Okay.
So I've tried to help by telling her she will be going right soon. The sat-nav shows that she will be going right, and she has said okay, as if she knows what she's going to do. So why does she stay in the left lane? The reason why I told her she's going right is because sometimes it can be very difficult to change to the right lane here unless you do it early. And examiners can help in these situations by giving an early direction to help with the driver's planning.
I'm in the wrong lane for this.
In a moment, you're probably going to figure out why I keep navigation announcements off when I use the sat-nav.
In 50 yards, at Greenstead roundabout,
Okay.
take the first exit and stay on St Andrews Avenue, A133. In 50 yards, at Greenstead roundabout, take the second exit and stay on St Andrews Avenue,
If we go left at this mini
A133.
roundabout, please.
Okay.
And at the next roundabout, please go right.
In 50 yards,
Next
at
roundabout, go
Greenstead
right.
roundabout,
Fourth
take the
exit.
second exit and stay on St Andrews Avenue, A133. In 50 yards, at the roundabout, take the 4th exit and stay on Colne Causeway, Elmstead Road.
She's talking a lot but not saying much. So
in
it's
150 yards,
4th exit coming
exit
back.
after this
take
one.
the first
Yeah.
exit onto St Andrews Avenue, A133.
And we're going left at the next mini roundabout.
Okay.
I'll help you a bit there because she's talking dribble. So next at the next mini roundabout.
Okay.
So left at the next,
here, yeah.
And then we're going ahead at the one after and then left again. So ahead
Ahead
and
of the
then
one
left.
Can you spot the 2 serious faults at the next mini roundabout?
In 50 yards, at Greenstead roundabout, take the 2nd exit and stay on St Andrews Avenue,
And then left
A133.
again.
Let's watch that again. The black car is signalling right to come around the mini roundabout, but Kirfi doesn't give way as she should. Fortunately, the driver of the black car is diligent, realises that we're not going to give way and waits patiently, so therefore I didn't need to stop the car via the dual controls. The second fault is that both lanes can go ahead at this mini roundabout, yet she changes to the left lane and checks her mirrors after the change. So the 2 faults on this mini roundabout would be junctions, observations for not giving way, and mirrors, change direction for not checking the mirrors before changing lane.
In 50 yards, at Greenstead roundabout, take the 1st exit and stay on St Andrews Avenue, A133.
She's not helpful, is she? That's not good directions. However, you could see on the screen where you needed to go.
Yeah.
She has plenty of time to stop for these red traffic lights, and I know it's not going to come across on camera, but she does brake quite hard here. There's not much space left and she's still doing some speed, so she leans me forward in the seat and she does use quite a significant percentage of the capability of the tyres. I would say she's probably pulling about half a G to 0.6 of a G here. So this would be a minor mark for controlled brakes. Again, she brakes too hard as she stops at this roundabout. She is increasing her chances of being rear-ended significantly. Also, people coming round the roundabout won't know if she's going to stop, and that's going to make them feel nervous. Throughout the test, she has been approaching junctions at a speed where she may have to brake firmly. So to play it safe, I'm going to mark it as a serious for junctions approach speed and speak to her about it during the debrief.
Exit the roundabout onto St Andrews Avenue. In 300 yards, at the roundabout, take the 2nd exit onto Carriageway Avenue, A133.
2nd exit, okay.
It's good that she keeps it within her lane on this roundabout. A lot of drivers don't do that here, which makes it difficult to navigate this roundabout safely.
Exit the roundabout onto Carriageway Avenue. In a 1/4 mile, turn left onto Meander Mews.
So ignore the sat nav now, I'll give you
Okay.
directions from here.
Again, she uses the brakes too firmly when she doesn't need to, although it's not as bad as it was earlier.
At the roundabout, head 2nd exit, please.
Head 2nd exit, okay.
She slows down more gently this time, and it's good that she doesn't stop at the traffic lights, as that would have required hard braking, which would not have been safe. The camera has a wide angle lens and makes things look a lot further away than they actually are. Judge distance by how long it takes us to actually get there.
At the roundabout, we're going left first exit, signposted town centre.
Okay.
Even though it's a city centre.
It's good she realised she had a filter lane on this roundabout, so she didn't need to fully give way. However, being aware is still a good idea.
It said city centre painted on the road. Guess they can't change all the signs just like that.
It's good that she's getting up to speed on this clear road with a 40 mph speed limit.
And at the roundabout, we're going to be following this road ahead. It's the third exit, signposted, all other routes. Slightly right on the sign, but treat this like ahead, please.
Okay.
She approaches this roundabout at an appropriate speed for her view. I feel like she's in good control and can stop smoothly if she needs to. And again, she gets up to a good speed on this 40 mph road, which is actually a fairly steep hill.
To help with your planning, at the next roundabout, you're going to be going right.
Right.
Fourth exit. Although it is only the third available exit.
Okay.
But there are 4 roads. Lexton on the sign.
Okay, third available exit, but it is the 4th exit. Fine.
She doesn't signal right on approach to this roundabout. This would normally be a minor mark for signals necessary, but as she already has a serious mark for this, I won't mark it. Notice how she is partly on the clutch and adjusting the gas. It doesn't come across on camera, but this is making the car quite jerky as she slips the clutch. This would likely be a minor mark for controlled clutch. This is the first time she is fully off the clutch since approaching the last roundabout.
Next road left, please.
Next road left.
I apologise for the late instruction. That was my fault.
That's okay.
I was planning to go somewhere else, but I changed my mind. Think about where we've got to park.
Okay.
Because we've got these times here where we're allowed to park in some places, but not in others.
Okay.
So with that van went across the road, we'll take the next road on the right.
Next road on the right, yeah.
Next road on the left after the green car.
After the green car, next road on the left.
And then pull over on the left in the safe place, please.
Okay.
So I was watching the mock test, believe it or not, I was here. And I've gone through the test in my head and I've made some notes. So as I say, I'm quite harsh. If I say it's a serious, it doesn't necessarily mean it will definitely be a serious.
Okay.
On your real test you did a couple of weeks ago, you got 2 minor marks for approach speed towards things, towards junctions in particular. But I find your approach speed towards junctions, not just junctions, but things where you need to be stationary at, like a queue of cars, a little bit worrying.
Okay.
I feel like, is she going to stop? Is she going to stop? And I'm sitting like this. Because I'm feeling like I need to be ready to press that brake. I don't want to. I don't want to press it. I want you to do it. But I need to be ready. And I'm having to leave it to that point where I think, if she doesn't stop soon, I'm going to have to brake. And you're braking very late. You're using quite a lot of the capabilities of the tyre. We shouldn't be doing that. I think you're pulling half a G in the braking sometimes. That's too much. You're leaning me forwards in the seat. You're approaching things way too quickly. So in my opinion, that would be a serious. And I would imagine many examiners would mark that as a serious because that is consistent throughout the test, and it's making it hard for you to deal with junctions. It's making me hard. I've got to try and keep it safe as well. I haven't got time to look at this junction coming in quite quickly.
That makes sense.
Obviously, I need a bit more time than a driver because I'm thinking not only do I need to see it safe, but obviously I've got to keep this car safe from the passenger seat and act late. That's quite a hard job to do, particularly when the person's approaching quite quickly towards the junction. So that was not an easy job for me there. Scary steering. Now most learners, they're not seasoned drivers. Their steering's a little bit off here and there, but throughout that test, there are many more occasions than I'm used to. I need to stop shouting. I'm clipping the microphone, aren't I? There's many more occasions than I'm used to where I feel like we're driving towards the edge. Oh, now we're not.
Yeah.
You're not stable. I feel like you're going round a roundabout and you're going a bit close to the roundabout or a bit to the other side. And again, it's because you're trying to do it too quickly for your ability. You're trying to drive like someone who's been driving for 30 years. You haven't.
Yeah.
Have you? You
Absolutely
need to take
not.
your time and drive at a speed at which you can handle. And that is the reason why you haven't passed your driving test, your real one or your mock. It's not your ability, it's your attitude. You're not accepting that you're a new driver and you're not driving within your own ability. You're pushing yourself too fast. And something you said to me before you did the test is you're like, I didn't know we were allowed to slow down that early for a junction. I was just slowing down at a nice moderate rate, giving Kirsty time to change gear and make a decision. Wasn't hard. It felt comfortable. It was nice and easy. Can't be that easy. No, it must be harder than that. It can be that easy. You're making this very hard. You can make it a lot easier. I'm going to help you with that. I think a small change in your attitude will make a massive difference to your driving. It's not skill, it's not knowledge, it's what you're trying to achieve. Now, there's occasions where I was taking the wheel. So I took the wheel before you did your parking. I took your wheel before you pulled up at the side of the road because I think you're going to hit the curb. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't wait until you hit it because your tyres are very important. If you damage your tyre and you're driving at speed, that can lead to sudden failure, which can cost lives.
Yeah.
If you have a high-speed crash because your tyre fails, so you should look after your tyres. And people say, oh, it's a learner car, shouldn't worry about your tyres being... No, my tyres don't hit that curb. If you go to hit the curb and push it away, because I don't want to be doing 70 miles an hour and have a blowout because I've got a weakness in the wall of my tyre. So that's why if you go too close, I will push it. But I'm not going to mark them on this test because there is a chance you wouldn't have hit them. There is a chance, but it was beyond my limit where I was thinking, I don't want to get any closer than this because if I let you get closer, it will be a hit. Now, you might not have got any closer, but I don't want to wait to find out. I can't wait to find out, can I? So I won't mark it, but you may have hit the curb on that test.
Okay.
No signal at a mini roundabout. So we're turning right at a mini roundabout. You signalled left to leave, and you don't need to signal left to leave mini roundabouts, but you didn't signal right to go right. It wasn't a 90-degree right. It was only, I don't know, 2 o'clock on the sign.
Yeah.
But without that right signal, cars don't know you're going round and they don't know they need to give way to you. Now, usually missing a signal, quite often that would be a minor mark on a test.
Yeah.
But missing an important signal, a signal that can lead to danger, like turning right at a mini roundabout, not signalling there, that can easily be a serious.
Okay, so it was just the one, but it's a serious
Now, given my experience of how examiners mark that, because nothing actually happened, they probably wouldn't give you a serious, they'll give you a minor. But I don't agree with that. It's only luck that that car
it's
didn't pull out in front of you, did they? If you're not signalling right at the roundabout there, they think, oh, right, you're not going right, I can go.
Yeah.
So I think generally that would probably be a minor mark. It's very hard to get a serious mark for a lack of an individual signal. It can happen, but in my opinion, that's a very important signal. I'm going to mark that as a serious. Emergency stop, very good, very hard stop, quick. You checked round and then you moved off later.
So probably needed another check, or should have moved off faster.
Whatever, you need your looks to be fresh. So that would likely be a minor mark as well. I mean, you're looking behind, you're aware of what's behind. So that wasn't old, but your blind spots got old.
Okay.
Failure to check a blind spot when moving away is nearly always a minor mark. It can be a serious mark, but again, only if you're very unlucky and there happens to be something there, which is why there is a certain amount of luck in a test. And when it comes to whether or not someone's going to pass, it's as I said earlier, it's like probability. You're either very good and it's very unlikely something could go wrong.
Yeah.
Because you're really in control of all the situations and you're on top of it, or it's very unlikely you're going to pass and you've got to have everything go right for you to pass. And then there's everything in between that. And that's why someone can go, oh yeah, my driving instructor said I wasn't ready to pass the test and I took a test in my own car and I passed. Well, a driving instructor should be aiming for about 8 out of 10 passes. That's what they're thinking, right, if that person's got an 8 out of 10 chance of passing, I'll let them go to test. Whereas the person taking the test may have only had a 1 out of 10 chance, you see? So that's why it happens, not because the instructor's trying to make people take longer. They don't need to do that. There's loads of pupils around. They don't need to hold on to pupils longer than they need to. I try to get rid of mine quicker if I can. So, country road, too slow.
Too slow.
30 miles an hour practically throughout that whole road. No speeding up on the straight. Not much slowing down on the bends either. So too fast. And I think that's 2 serious marks. The country road speed would be a serious mark. Very likely that, in my experience, doing that speed on that road for the entire length of that road would usually constitute a serious mark. That is a real road they use on the test in this town, this city. So I'm used to that. You went too fast round a bend though. You're doing the speed on the straight, really sharp bend. It's a second gear bend. You didn't slow down much at all and you turned round it dangerously. It was close to dangerous. I was very close. I said dangerously. I'm on the border. I'm on the fence here. I was very close to braking and taking the wheel. And I'm also thinking, should I have done that? Because that wasn't that safe. I probably shouldn't have let you go around that bend that quickly. You could not see around that bend. And also because of your speed, you're a little bit in the middle as well. So if something's coming the other way, I'm almost certain I would have had to take the wheel and slow you down.
Yeah, I only realised after I went around the
bend.
You
know the bend I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah, after that I thought, what did you just do? And then I think I slowed down a little bit for it, the rest of the stretch of the road. I think I slowed down a little bit, but yeah.
You did slow down for some of the bends after that, but there's not much difference between this when you can see and it's clear. Have you had much practice on country roads? It doesn't feel like you've had much. You haven't sped. You're not speeding up and slowing down. That's the whole point in country roads, making progress and good position.
I have, but I probably didn't register or take away what I should have taken away from there. Yeah. And
then the dual carriageway. What's the speed limit on a dual carriageway?
It is 70, and I think I was going 55, 60.
High 50s. I kept checking every so often. It was high 50s. Usually that's a minor mark on that road. That road is a common road on the test in Colchester, and if you do it on a nice day like today, clear, open, empty, you should be getting up to 70. So that would be a minor mark. I've not had someone get a serious mark for doing 60 down that stretch, because it isn't a long stretch.
Yeah.
That would be a bit harsh. Wrong lane at a mini roundabout, the Greenstead roundabout.
Yeah.
I gave you a lot of help there. The sat nav was showing right, and I even said to you, the help of your planning.
Yeah.
At the next mini roundabout, you're going right, still in the left lane. You get to the zebra crossing, and then you realise,
oh no, I should have been in the other lane, and then it was far too late, so I just took the turn that I could take.
I don't think it was too late. You could have gone into that right lane. It was safe. No one was there. It was safe to make that lane change at that point.
Still more complicated to do, isn't it?
Yeah, only just. But you don't going the wrong way. You can fail a test for going the wrong way. A lot of people think you can't, but you can, because if you keep going the wrong way, they'll stop the test. They'll terminate the test and you don't pass. But if you go the wrong way a few times, they won't be very happy about it, because it makes their planning very difficult, because now they've got to suddenly change their plan and still get back in time and do everything that they need to do, like the hill start, the angle start, the emergency stop if they can get one in, the manoeuvre. So it makes life really hard for them. So you're not going to have a very happy examiner if you're not trying very hard to go the correct way. You're not paying attention to their directions or the sat nav. And if you keep ignoring them, they will end the test. Anyway, this is probably taking too long. So, I think we've actually covered most of it now, apart from you're over the clutch a lot. You're covering the clutch whenever I checked. I don't know if it was throughout, but when I did check, you're covering it.
I do
but
keep
you're
my
not
foot on it
pressing
without pressing.
You're not pressing it. So that, I didn't mention it.
Yeah.
However, the last major roundabout you did, the car's going as you're going round it, because you're not off the clutch, you're at the bite point.
Yeah.
The clutch and the engine hasn't fully synced, and as you're using the gas, the car's sort of like lurching forwards and slowing down. And then as you left the roundabout, you put the clutch down again when you didn't need to, and the revs went up. And so there it was a problem. That's why it's good to come off the clutch and leave it, because what you don't want to happen is your clutch become the response to a hazard. Clutch down. Got a junction, clutch down. It should go down when you need to change gear, and it should go down when you're going too slow to keep the clutch up when you're getting near minimum revs.
Okay.
I'm going to give you some help now. I think just changing your attitude will make a big difference. You need more time, and I think you'll find it a lot easier. So we'll end the video here. If you found the video interesting, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking for car insurance, check out the links to Collingwood and Confused in the description. If you're learning to drive and want to insure yourself on somebody else's car, then Collingwood are there for you, because you can do so without affecting the owner's policy, and that can take away a big stress from the owner of that car that you're using to practice your driving in. Via the link at the moment, it's up to 35% off and a £20 Amazon gift card. If you want to insure your own car, I recommend checking out the link to confused.com, because you fill out one quote form and get loads of quotes back from many insurers to compare who's cheapest. And you can change your car on that quote as many times as you like, so it's a quick and easy way to compare how much it costs to insure different cars without having to fill out the whole form again. Using the links doesn't cost you anything, but it does support the channel, so thank you very much. And something I forgot was I didn't give you the show question on the move, did I?
No. I
didn't ask you to open the window or horn.
No.
Nor, you can tell I'm not a real examiner. I am an instructor. I do tests, but I don't do 7 tests a day like real examiners do. And obviously they're very much more used to doing that very structured test. Anyway, subscribe to get my future videos, and until the next one, cheerio.